The nose and jawline. Let's briefly discuss this. This is going to be really, I mean, it's important for girls too, but this is really more of a masculine thing. We want to make sure that our jawlines and our nose is presented well. But what I want to show in this example is first with the nose. When you pose the face, you don't want the nose to basically break the outside frame of the face. And what I mean is, if you were to kind of consider this line on this side of his face as a frame, right here his nose is breaking through that frame, right? As soon as it does that, it'll have the effect of enlarging his nose. It makes his nose look larger than it is because it's breaking through that plane or breaking through that frame of the face. So we pull the chin back so that the nose is contained within the frame of the face, and immediately it feels much more natural and it doesn't exaggerate the nose as much. This is a big issue for Indian grooms, for Middle Eastern grooms, for all of us that have kind of that hook in our nose. We already have big noses to begin with. We don't want it to look bigger when you do that. So you want to pull the chin back. The other thing I want to notice is the jawline. Notice how there's a kick of light right here that emphasizes his jawline. Here there's at least a nice shadow that emphasizes the jawline. We need to make sure that we're controlling the jawline, and you're going to do that with the height to make sure it always looks right and it looks good. So let's do a quick example. What I'm going to do, brother, is I'm going to move you right here, and let's do a bad shot first. I want you to zoom in, okay, and let's just go looking straight onto the camera. Zoom in, go 70 millimeters and go landscape. And frame him on the right side of the frame. Okay, so hold that exact position, Brandon, because what you're going to notice is we lose his jawline, right? The whole point of making them look in the light is not only because we want them to look in the light, but it's also to actually create definition to the jawline. So as soon as we bring his chin over to the right, you can actually see how it chisels out that side of the face. So what I'm going to have you do is shoot that image again, bring your chin over this way, and what I'm looking for is where the beard is now contained within the skin of his neck. Okay? So now, bring his chin over to this side without breaking the plane of the nose so that the beard is inside the skin of the neck. Do you see how the beard is inside the skin of the neck right there? Very simple. We haven't broken the plane of the face. Now, I think you can bring his nose over a little bit more into that light, because see, we have still more distance there, so do it a little bit more.
A little bit more?
Mm-hmm.
A little bit more? There it is. Right there.
And then either make him look down or, let's see what that is. Oh, there you broke the plane. You see it? Don't break the plane of the nose.
Oh, you don't want me to?
Oh, did you want?
Sorry, I thought you were.
Oh no, don't break the plane. So it's still a portrait of him looking in, just push the chin a little bit more. But that's a great, yeah, he was doing, yeah, that's perfect. Perfect.
Good example.
Good example, what not to do. Great.
You guys.
Thank you.
I'll be here all night. Okay, chin towards me just a little bit right there, looking in the light.
And then have him look in the camera too.
All right, then we're looking at the camera. The chin a little bit towards the light. There we go. Towards the light a little bit. Chin. There it is.
And then do one looking down at the ground.
One looking at the ground. Chin up just a little bit.
Okay. So do you see how as we push take a look at this. This shot to this shot, and you guys can choose which one you like the best. But this one is going to have the best, most chiseled jawline. This is pretty good too. But the frame of the face, I kind of like it better on this one a little bit. This one we don't really have a jawline, but we do have, at least we have definition. Because he has a beard, at least we have definition against the skin, right? If he didn't, we just have skin on skin, and that'd be bad because it'd blend into each other. Okay, so let's do this. I like that angle a lot. Let's do that shot. And what I'm gonna do is we're gonna add a kicker, because in many of your scenes, you will have a natural light kicker, which is your sun, right? If you're adding a light or whatever you're doing, you have the sun behind. So let's just say that we have a secondary light source, and all I'm gonna do is catch a little bit of that light, pose, put him in that same pose again. Oh, there's a hole in this. Beautiful.
All right. Okay, chin towards the light. There you go, looking towards me. Bring that light source in more. A little bit more. Hold that one too.
Perfect. You were getting me in the photo, weren't you?
No, just, well, your fingers, you're moving.
Okay. So all we did is just add a little kick of a line to the edge right here. And you can control the brightness of it, so as we go closer or further back, so do that again.
Even if it's in the shot.
Oh.
I mean, you're as close.
Just zoom in tighter.
Chin towards the light source.
Should be able to see the kicker. Okay. Do you see the edge light that's kind of coming and landing on his chin? Or his cheek, his, whatever it is? Whatever, jawline, there you go, there you go. It's getting late, guys. It's getting late. Okay, so you can always use a reflector, you can use an LED light, you can use whatever you'd like. In the case of Ryan, when we were in the Bahamas, I just used an LED light. And the nice thing about an LED light is, let me show you guys, it's visible, so you can actually see it just visually, and you can place it in the right spot so that you get that nice little kicker there. Either way though, control that jawline, control the height up and down, and control left and right so that you have a nice extension of the jawline, and you'll be golden. So I'm gonna show, I love this shot of Brandon right here. This one looks fantastic. Look at that. It's nice, brother. It's nice. Okay, watch your jawlines, people. Let's go ahead and go on to the next video. Oh, question. No, let's not go to the next video. We have a question.
So when you're shooting bridal portraits, I noticed that you've gone top down a lot, not like completely top down shooting angle, but more so for like beauty and portraits, like through the reflector that we just used actually. So for men, because of the jawline, do you like tend to shoot more straight on like how we just did, or do you think like a top down angle would work for them because of the jawline? Because you'd lose more of the jawline if you're shooting top down?
I'll tell you this, I don't generally like to shoot men top down because it softens their appearance a lot. I like to either shoot them straight on or bottom up if we're going for a stronger stance, but rarely do I go top down. If I do go top down, then what I'll do is, let's say I had a chair. Can I get one of these chairs for a sec, guys? If I do go top down on a guy, what I would do is, let's say, Brandon, I'm gonna place you right here, and you're gonna lean into this, but I want you to actually look up and towards the camera, like, so you're gonna bring your chin. So he brings his chin up and towards the camera, so he's not, otherwise it's gonna look like has this longing look for the, you know, it's gonna look really odd. So let me go ahead and check out your position. So go ahead and lean into it, and then, there you go, chin up a little bit, chin over to this side, okay? And now if you're shooting top down so that the plane is right there, okay, this will feel good. It'll feel great. You're still shooting a little bit top down, but it's not as exaggerated. And he's looking up and towards the camera, but we do need to bring the chin. See that, Joe? Can you bring the chin over to the light more so we get the jawline emphasis?
A little bit more to the right. There you go. Hold that. There it is. There it is.
There it is, baby. There we go. Okay, so it maintains the masculinity of the frame. Now, if he doesn't do that, go ahead and keep the chin down and longingly look up at Joe. Keep the chin down more. There you go.
Do it.
Yeah. You get it? So that's actually like, I mean, if he were a girl, those would be bedroom eyes. That's what we refer to as bedroom eyes, like the kind of longing look that a girl, when she goes chin down and eyes up at somebody. When you do a guy, it's very feminine, very diminishing. So we don't want to do that. So if you're going to go top down, just make sure that you have him angled up towards the lens so it's not diminishing. Cool? All right. Let's go ahead and move on to the next video. Okay. Other nuances, understanding that the hands, well, we have a lot of natural pointers, right? We've discussed this a little bit. I want you guys to remember, hands, arms, fingers, legs, feet, these are all natural pointers in a frame. Generally, you're not worried too much about the feet because they're usually always connected to the ground, but they could be. Anything that extends off the body can become a pointing device. So what I mean by this is, again, this is one of those things like it doesn't really make or break the image. This is still a nice image. This is from photographing the couple. The hand is coming over and up, and you've got one finger extended and the other's closed. It looks like she's pointing right at something. Not to mention he's looking down and she's looking down towards the finger. It makes me feel like there should be something there, or that she found something and she's pointing right at it. So open the fingers, open the hand, leave even spacing. This shot, the hugging around the belly thing, it's fine when your couple is very slim, very fit, it's totally fine. But do you notice how all four hands creates this major attention grabbing feature on the belly? Which means that if she were self-conscious about her belly, that would be a really bad thing to do because it's drawing attention into it. But if they're not, that's fine. Not a big deal, so long as, expression trumps everything. This one I like because you can see the arm kind of coming through this side. You can see it right here. You can see the hand going up, and we have that natural kind of encasing loop that brings us up and around and back down. So I like this. An example of hands used well, it should lead you around the frame and back in. The eye should pull you right back into the frame. Okay? I thought examples like this were kind of interesting where you kind of follow up and you just kind of go down the arm and up the other side when there's a single connection point. And this was me telling Heath, I'm like, dude, because him and Gina were actually like really good friends and they were kissing a lot. And I was like, Heath, I need you to go for another kiss. And I was like, you can thank me later, bro. And then he just threw up this like, thanks, dude. I was like, oh, that's so cool. It's not only a great moment, but what I loved about it was just how powerful it literally dominates the entire frame. Such a simple thing, the fingers up like this and just placed right there. That's all you look at when you see this, is that. And I thought it was a great example of just how powerful fingers and hands are in an image, because it's kind of everything you see right there. Vaughn, wake up! Just kidding. Just kidding. He's just like slowly. Okay, check this one out. Remember how we talked about expression trumps everything, right? I love the expression on this image. I love everything about it. But I had him run this back again because this bugged the crap out of me. Like all 5 fingers pointing out and splaying out on each side. It's not a huge deal, but instead what I like is even spacing on the fingers and not too far apart. So too far apart becomes very awkward and like kind of attention grabbing. Even spacing becomes a little more natural. We don't want this. This looks weird when someone does closed fingers on a chest, right? Don't do that. So simple fingers when hand holding. We're just gonna bang through this shiz. You know what I mean? Sean knows what I mean. Let's do this. Simple fingers when hand holding. So when hand holding, I just want you guys to go hand over hand and have simple fingers. You can go one hand over the other, one hand over the other. Just avoid the shrimp cocktail. This thing, it's very busy. Now, once again, does this make or break a photo? No, they're doing shrimp cocktail here. Okay, but the reason why it's kind of okay here is because it's a pulled back shot. It doesn't really draw a lot of attention. We're shooting wide enough that it's a very small piece of the frame. But as soon as you look at a close-up shot, this is a first dance and I can't obviously do anything about a first dance. It's totally fine. But that interlocking fingers becomes a kind of a busy mess in this shot because we're shooting so much closer. It becomes a lot more visual weighted on the hands. Spooky hands. Who brought this up earlier? Okay. Spooky hands happen when you can't see where the hand is coming from. So like right here, the fingers are coming up and over, but we don't see where those fingers are coming from. That's when we want to hide it. So the reason why, like, Kevin, if you and Caitlin come up here real quick, and you stand here, and you go into a V-up. We always say with a V-up, so Caitlin, you can let your hand relax on the backside, and put it on the inside of his arm. There you go. Bring your fingers across to right here. There. He's closed the gap between them. So now, if we bring the hand out just a little bit, Caitlin, and take that photograph real quick, you'll notice that we're gonna get spooky hands because we can't see where it's coming from. And so this is the case. Okay, so we can assume that it's, obviously his hand. It makes kind of sense in this frame. It's not as bad as like a family formal where you just have like a hand that's like on a shoulder. But still, it's a little bit odd, and that's why we say when it comes to the V-up, we usually hide the hand on the back. So we usually hide the hand on the small of the back and place it directly behind her if you can't see where it's coming from. And that way, it's not grabbing attention from us. The other thing it's going to do is placing the hand on the small of the back, especially when there's space between the arm and the waist. So if you push the arm out just a little bit and you take that again, you're going to see the space and the opening much better than when her hand is, or when his hand is concealing that space. Does that kind of make sense? So look at how his hand conceals the space. So you guys can have a seat. That's where we say, like, if you can't see where the hands are coming from, then generally, just keep that in mind. Let's go back though. I'll give you an example. So here we kind of have the hand going across. It looks totally fine. It looks great. Here, this isn't a spooky hand because we can see the arm going across the back and going around his neck. That's fine. Here we can see a little bit of it too. It's coming in right there and it's going across. It's fine. Okay. Here, can we identify some of the spooky hands? One right here. This one for sure. We have no idea where that guy's coming from. This one for sure. You have no idea where that one's coming from. Yep, and one right here. Okay, so does it make or break an image? Not really. I mean, it's fine. That's why these are nuances. It's understanding that this is what the effect can be in a frame. So usually when I have someone put their arm around somebody, I'll have them place it up a little bit higher so you can see where the arm is coming from. The only thing is it can look a little bit patriarchal in some ways, like kind of like brotherly. So if it has an odd feeling to you, then just bring the hand back down. Just take it down. All right, let's stop this video. We'll actually go and start a new one. We're gonna talk about finger tension and soft wrists. Perspective and foreshortening, guys, it's not always a bad thing. This can totally be used for you. Like we've talked earlier, you can use it to elongate legs, make one person larger in frame, all of that. Let me give you a couple examples of this. This is the exact same photograph taken with a 5D3, a 24mm lens, 1/2000 of a second f 1.4 and ISO 100. Exact same shot, exact same lens, just angled differently. What happened in this frame? So what happened here versus this shot? Who got larger? Who got smaller? The guy got larger, right? Does that not work for the goals of a guy to increase dominance and masculinity and strength and that kind of thing to make him larger in frame? That kind of works with the goals of photographing a guy. By taking an angle where she's slightly further back, do we not create a sort of softness as she takes a smaller kind of role in the frame and so forth? So it kind of works, does it not? So this is shot basically with equal distance to both the couples, a little bit further back. This is being pushed forward and photographing her, and the emphasis is on her with the eyes going down to him, or sorry, with his eyes going down to her, and we bring the hands in across. Guys, we broke a couple rules here. There's right angles, right? Does it look okay? Why does it look okay? There's kind of a purpose there. I mean, he's bringing his hand across and kind of caressing her hand. So there's a reason why his hand is going over, is to touch her hand. She's bringing her arms across and hugging onto his arm. He has his hand up and on the jacket. I mean, you could say that there is purpose or not, but in this image, it does a nice job of framing kind of what's going on in the shot, and his body kind of, everything about his language leads into her. So the arm is going into her, everything's going in, and it wraps us up and around, and we kind of just stay fixated on the brightest point of this frame. And it has good expressions too. So yeah, we broke a couple rules. It still works, it's still fine.
So I would say, yeah, in this picture, I mean, there's really no purpose, but she does bring presence. to this image, and that's why our focus goes to her and not to the big cluster of hands.
Yeah. Well, and if his hands were not touching hers, to be honest, if his hands were like on his own hand, that'd be weird, right? If his hand was just placed on his own, it would feel a little more awkward. What they're doing kind of makes somewhat sense, but you're absolutely right. The presence that she has is so dominating that it kind of takes command of the scene. Part of this is because I actually put the sun directly behind her and her veil so that it has this haloing effect on the image. So I'm placing the sun behind where I want us to focus so that that becomes the brightest point in the frame, naturally. Okay, there are times when you want something to appear larger than it actually is. They want to do a stylized shoot where he's a kickboxer, she's a ballerina dancer, and this is one of the shots where he's flexing his bicep. So we bring it right into the camera and have him flex into the camera with her leaning into him to create that look. Same thing, we talked about this already. Bring your hip into the camera, exaggerating. This one I want to show you guys, this is an 85 millimeter. It does a really good job of showing foreshortening, because what you'll see here is, look at the size of her neck in this shot versus the size of her neck in this shot. Okay? Do you see how the distance between these two got longer than these two? Do you see how from edge to edge of the shoulder, there's less skin there and more skin here? This is an example of foreshortening. This shot is actually much less flattering for her than the one on the left side, where her shoulder is pushed back away from the lens, where her neck is pushed back away from the lens, versus this one where the neck is closer and the shoulder is much, much closer to the camera. So notice how much more skin we're showing here. Granted, she's a model. She's super slim. It's fine. But if she were just a regular sized person, and a lot of girls are self-conscious about their arms, this would not be an angle that you'd want to take with the arm being the closest thing to the lens. It's going to make it appear larger. Same thing with the neck. Foreshortening can happen in group portraits as well. What's the problem with this shot, guys? Yeah, look at how big these people in the bottom are versus the couple at the top. Look at this. In terms of how much of the frame these guys are commanding, if I draw a line around them and you can compare sizes. What the heck? Our bride and groom took a tiny, tiny position in the shot. This was on a 35 millimeter at 1/200 f5 and ISO 640. This was shot several years ago on a 5D Mark II, actually. This is one of my first attempts at editorial posing. And this is kind of the only place that I could find to do it. Not a bad first attempt, but you guys have any idea how we could take this exact same pose, exact same everything, and actually make it look right?
Bring the couple to the front.
You could. You could bring the couple to the front. You could bring them down and fill that open space and then leave space. Like if the couple were standing right here and their bodies were going up to here and you left these two guys on each side, that'd be great. Yeah, that'd work really well. What else could you do? What about keeping them in this exact same pose without changing a single thing? What could you do to make it look right? Let me erase the red marks.
Push those guys to the side on the steps.
Yeah, they could be sitting.
Step way far away and shoot 70 to 200.
What did you just say, Maddie? Step way far away.
And shoot 70 to 200.
Yes. So without changing the pose, without changing anything in the scene, you could step far away with a 70 to 200 and zoom in. And what's going to end up happening is that you guys understand that all these things are relative. The reason why their distance is being so exaggerated and the foreshortening is so exaggerated is because we're shooting it on a 35 millimeter lens. So we're fairly close to the group, and because we're fairly close to the group, distances are exaggerated. As soon as we step far back and we zoom in with a 70-200, up maybe at 100 millimeters, maybe 150 or 200 millimeters, the distance between these guys and the guys in the background is no longer significant, and everybody will even out in size in the frame. Cool? So again, an example of you can still use this shot with the correct lens. Your foreshortening is not going to be an issue. Okay. Any questions on this?
I was just gonna say, if you didn't have the space, then you would just adjust.
If you didn't have the space, I would do what you mentioned, bring the couple down in the middle, shoot it that way. Because at least then your shot is focused on them, everybody else takes a secondary role, but that's what they're doing in the wedding anyway, they're taking a secondary role and it's okay. Cool? Let's go ahead and jump to the next video. Okay, so too much overlap. We discussed this a little bit. There's rules on how much overlap you should have, what percentage of the body. I don't really want to get into that. I just want to tell you guys that if you have too much overlap, it looks like somebody's hiding behind someone else, okay? He's too much hidden behind her in this shot. We only see 30% of his body, and that looks a little bit odd. It looks odd when you're close up. It looks odd from a distance that he's so hidden behind her. It looks like we're intentionally doing it to do something, to hide something. So when we overlap, we want to make sure that we're not overlapping. There's a kind of a guide that generally you don't overlap more than 20 to 30% of the body, right? Guys, can I have you two come up? Now you can kind of tell where this is going to go wrong when Kevin's right here, Caitlin, you're right next to him. I want you to go from an open pose first, so stand right next to him, completely next to him. Take a shot of this, Joe. And go portrait, and let's go full length.
Okay, scoot this way just a little more.
And have them scoot back so that they're in the light a little bit better. Right there, perfect.
Hold that, 1, 2.
Okay, and then Caitlin, step behind him a little bit, hug onto his arm, just a little bit. Like right there, perfect. Take a shot again. And look into the camera. Okay, slightly go behind him a little bit more. Right there.
Turn towards left.
Okay, slightly behind him more. Slightly behind him more. Okay. When did this start getting weird?
When you and Joe were hugging.
Ghost.
It started getting weird right here, right? Isn't that already a little bit too much where 50% of her body is basically covered, of the chest is basically covered? This one was where it was normal. This one's fine, this one's normal. A little bit much, way too much, and she's hidden in a shadow. So, does that kind of give you guys an idea? So we want to make sure that there's overlap, there's connection, and that's perfect, guys. Thank you so much. I love the dark shadow one. So overlap is great. Just don't overdo it. You'll know when you overdo it when it looks like somebody's hiding behind the other person. It's a very simple thing to understand. Now, why is this image okay? Because honestly, she's quite overlapped on him on this frame. Why is it okay though? He's taller. Expression trumps all, right? So the expression is great. There's also a certain physicality in this embrace that they're doing, right? It's just naturally gonna happen where if he embraces her from behind like that, it's naturally gonna conceal part of his body. But we have enough of him open and enough of him out that you can see his body going all the way down, and we can see quite a bit of his chest. His height is what makes this really, really work. Is that what you said, Carlo? His height makes this totally work because we can see a large portion of his chest above her shoulders. Can you imagine if his head were right here? Would that work as well? No. Because we wouldn't see enough of him above her to make it not look like they're hidden. So all you do is what Joe was doing is you have them, when they're doing a hugging pose like that, if they're getting too concealed, either you pull one out, or if you need them to be close like that, like come back out for one sec, guys. So let's go where you are hugging onto him. Perfect. Now, if they're looking straight onto the camera, so look straight out to the camera, turn all the way, like turn into the camera, there you go. So when you do that, she's in the shadow, right? Take that shot real quick. Love it. So beautiful. All you do is what Joe did, which is, let's get that in the shadow. Yes. So beautiful. Yes. All you do is you turn them, okay? And then you say, Kevin, I want you to look down and towards her side. Caitlin, I want you to whisper something, say something dirty into his ear. Like maybe you should clean your ears, Kevin. And Kevin, bring your hands up and actually interact with her. And Caitlin, I want you to hug him like a real embrace, like actually pull him into you.
Got it. Keep it going. Got it.
Okay, and did we have shadow on her face still? If there's a shadow on her face, just have him turn a little bit more. Yeah, there's still a shadow on her face. Turn a little bit more. There you go. I love that drop toe. That's perfect.
Whisper. Stop there.
Okay. Did they get a good laugh? Got a good one? There we go. Okay, now what's happening here? Well, Kevin's hand is going one hand in the pocket, one hand's up on her. She's got both arms around him, pulling him into her. Good expression, good everything. We can see their bodies, and so now you basically use the shot that we were talking about was unusable with them stacked directly on top of each other, but now it's usable because they're turned sideways and we can see what's going on.
Oh, I mean, the first thing that I noticed is her arm.
Flattened out.
Yeah, flattened out and give her a nice little bicep.
Yep.
So, how would you redo that? Not saying that, it's bad or anything. It's just, that's the first thing that I noticed.
No, it's a great point because anytime you do that, so do that again, hug onto him. So anytime the arm presses against the body, it opens up. So if your arm is actually a little bit more open, like you'll notice that it'll actually be a little bit softer. So the easiest way to do this is to have one hand come down. It's like a simple adjustment of just saying, bring that one hand down a little bit so the arm doesn't flatten out and open up quite so much. Also remember that if you watch this arm, so again, if we're working with girls and the goal is to kind of minimize, right? Well, what I don't want is a wrist to be turned out. Okay, so as soon as a wrist is turned out, you'll notice that the bicep actually gets engaged, right? I'm not trying to do this to like show off. Okay, so if we turn the wrist in, we're fine. Does that make sense? We don't engage the bicep. So when she's going across and up like this, that's literally flexing the bicep when she's doing that. So relax it and turn it back out. Cool? And then just bring the arm down. So do that same thing again, and let's fix that correction that Vaughn noted. So open up a little bit to the light so you're not in the shadow. There you go. Bring the hand maybe down and across a little bit. There you go. Perfect. Hug onto her hand. There you go. Get that good laughs going, Joe.
Whisper.
Whisper. Whisper.
Stop there.
Yes. Okay. I love that you pointed that out, Vaughn, because that's a big thing. And I want to show you guys how big the difference is. Huge difference, right? Huge difference. Now, if you got a great expression right here, keep in mind that a quick liquefy can fix that very easily. Don't throw it out, or don't like necessarily feel like, oh my gosh, I got to recreate that entire thing. It's going to be impossible to recreate it because I didn't get the shot, right? Go, oh, okay, that's a quick liquefy. If it's that great of an expression, that great of an everything, and I need to move forward, I'm going to move forward. But simple fix. Okay, so that's how you can turn a stack pose where they're directly behind each other into something that's actually usable, is by simply turning the angle. Now here we're turning their angle, but in reality you can just move your angle, right? You can just work around the couple, and that works totally fine too. All right, thank you guys. Let's go back to this. And pat yourselves on the back, folks, because it's time for Chapter 7 for group posing. So we're going to take a little break. I'll see you guys in Chapter 7.